Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. It's me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Just checking out my outfit. You guys, look at my little cute shirt. She's a lady today. Okay, welcome everyone. Today we are talking about the lunar eclipse in Libra, the Libra Lunar Eclipse. We're going to talk about the astrology signs. We're going to talk about how it's going to affect us. Do not look at the eclipse. I would never suggest that. We used to do that as kids. That is so insane. I would never do that now. Anyway, but we're going to get into all the details. How is this going to affect you? How is it going to affect the collective? And we'll pull some tarot cards if I have some time, but we definitely would go over all the deets of this lunar eclipse. I rarely do a video in these past few days on just one topic. I am a little late to the party on this lunar eclipse because I've been busy. We probably already been feeling this energy, but it's okay. It's never too late because it's still going to affect us, maybe even some time to come. So the Libra lunar eclipse happens at 12 a.m. It happens March 25th. You can feel it a few days before. So if you're feeling anything that I'm describing, you are normal. Okay. Also, before I start, I want to tell you to please subscribe, like, and comment. That helps me out. That pays my bills. Even though I'm not getting paid by doing this, I actually get paid by doing private readings. But if you are enjoying this video and you like me, or you just like YouTube and you like the platform, or you like the topic or the subject, or you're learning something from this, if you're getting anything out of it, or even if you like my shirt, thumbs up this video, subscribe, and do your due diligence as a YouTube. Okay, so let's get on to the topic at hand. Now, normally when I do lives too, I do readings, and if I have time, I'll pull some cards for whoever who is staying on live. So anyway, but we're talking about the Libra lunar per penumbra eclipse. It happens at 2 a.m. The lunar eclipse in Libra is going to happen on the 25th of this year. And there's going to be a solar eclipse happening April 8th later on. And I'll explain why if you're new to astrology. September 17th, we're going to get another lunar eclipse, and that's going to be in a sign of Pisces. Then we're going to get another solar eclipse, but also in a sign Libra again, October 2nd, 2024. Okay. So if you need to write that down, write it down. Rewind it, put in your calendar. Remember, you're going to feel it a few days before, like 5 days before. So just so you know, but I am always here to remind you. Also, just a reminder, in the last videos that I've done, we are in a pre-shadow phase of Mercury. I will not travel on the airplane because, especially with the Pluto and Aquarius, what I've been discussing, just, something. And I went over Mercury pre-shadow phase. So go ahead and check out that video. So back to this eclipse. Now, each eclipse seasons last about 35 days. And there's also, when they say eclipse season, because I used to be like, what is eclipse season? It is when there are 2 or 3 eclipses close together because they happen within 35 days. It's really a new moon and a full moon, and there's an eclipse connected to the lunar nodes. Anyway, but they happen within 35 days. Okay. And there's usually 2 or 3 of them. This eclipse season, we only have 2. Okay. So typically there are 2 eclipses in one eclipse season and 2 eclipse season in a one calendar year. Hence, I just told you what we're having in March and April, and later on in the year, we're going to have the next set season will be in September and October. So this means that we're going to encounter a pair of eclipses. One is solar, one is lunar. Each of them are powered new moons and full moons, okay, on steroids. Okay, if you are into the new moon, if you are into the full moons, well, an eclipse is it on steroids. So I was told as a young astrologer that an eclipse is to bring us back on our plan, that we were sidetracked and now the eclipse is back to our plan. Also, in traditional days, eclipses were bad omens traditionally, and it was collectively thought as a bad omen. Okay, so no one go look at the eclipse, please. So typically we have at least 4 eclipses per year. The eclipse repeats every 173 days, or just less within 6 months. Okay, the first eclipse is March and April, which is on the 25th, and it's going to be followed April 8th, and that's going to be in the sign Aries. March 25th eclipse is a lunar eclipse, also mean that is a full moon eclipse. Okay, so lunar means full moon, solar means new moon. Okay, and a total solar eclipse is going to happen April 8th, and that is going to be the new moon, and it's going to be in the sign Aries. April 8th eclipse will go across the United States from Texas all the way up to the Midwest and into the northern New England. And whoever can see the eclipse, it will affect you the most. If you can see the eclipse from where you are, it will affect you the most. I will show you a picture of where we're going to see this eclipse. Okay, eclipse always happen in opposite signs, because the new moon and the full moon, that's how it works. So it's always on a polarizing. So we have it in Libra and Aries. Those are opposite sign. Aries is about the self, and it's like me, which is the self, and it's also the first. And then Libra is in the middle, and it's the seventh zodiac sign within the 12 zodiac signs, and it is about relationships. Okay, so that is what you have. Just a brief little snippet of. There are two different kinds of eclipse. So I talked about that, lunar and solar. These two eclipses are single. Okay, I talked about that. Then later this year, September, I talked about that. We'll have those eclipses. We'll have a shallow partial lunar eclipse, September 17th, and we'll have an annular solar eclipse on the 2nd. No eclipse affects everyone equally, just so you know. I won't be affected the same way you won't be affected, will be affected. Some may be affected more than others. It also depends on your chart. Like I was looking at, I have 3 kids, and no one in my household will be affected. However, my oldest will be affected more than others. And that's just how the life cookie crumbles. Okay. Eclipses are often seen as potent times for transformation and change. The energy of eclipse season can be quite intense. May I repeat myself? Intensity is always the word to use with eclipse, okay? As this period of time often brings an unexpected event, and I'll explain, give you a reminder of an unexpected event, or revelations that can lead to that can lead to substantial personal shifts. Both modern and ancient astrologers believe that the area of the Earth's surface that lies between the moons and the umbra, and that is where you can see it, is where it will be mostly affected. Okay, a lunar eclipse is much longer. A lunar eclipse is much longer duration generally than the solar eclipse. And it lasts about 2 hours. Okay, I'm here. Okay, in 1969 and 1980, we didn't have any lunar eclipse. That's just a little side bit. I just thought that was really interesting. I had no idea. But anyway, but we did have solar eclipse that year. Okay, those 2 years, but no lunar eclipse. The moon plays a vital role with astrology because it is the nearest neighbor in space to the Earth. And the moon is affecting the weather. We are made of so much water in our body, and that lunar eclipse is going to affect our emotions and feelings more than ever. So an eclipse is so important. How the moon operates, how the lunar nodes, because that also affects eclipse, how that operates really affect us. So because our body is mostly of water, a lot of people during full moons need to drink a lot of water. Hence, I want to drink some now. Also, welcome if you are listening to the podcast. I should have told you that I'm wearing a shirt that kind of looks like a little tutu. It's a peplum top. It's white. It flows out. It's actually made by line by K is actually what it's called. The line by K is what it's called. If you want to know, I'm also wearing a headpiece that's white. It's not really a headpiece. It's a headband. And that is also made by my favorite designer, Fanjom. They do head wraps because I love me a head wrap. Okay. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. So let's talk about this eclipse. So this eclipse, first of all, let me show you. Let me show you what this actually looks like. Let me see. Here we go. So this is what we are going to see, people. Okay. Oh, actually, let me put me back to where I was. Okay. That works. So all of this here, can you see that? All that yellow is going to be affected by the eclipse. So we will be seeing it. If you all the yellow is who can see it, and that's going to affect a lot of people. Is Hamas in there? Is Israel in there? Well, yeah. Okay. I know America's in there. I know LA is in there. Okay. All right. So now let me show you also just real quick what this is a regular full moon, and this is what we are going to experience, a penumbral lunar eclipse. And it doesn't look exciting like a regular eclipse. So you guys don't go out there and see it. There's no need to see it. Okay. I'm just telling you, it's not that fancy. So everyone stay indoors. Okay. Rest. Okay. So let's talk about this lunar eclipse. And lunar eclipse can occur when there's a full moon. It's when the sun and the earth and the moon are lined up in space. A penumbral, I can't say the word, okay, you guys, but that kind of eclipse, a penumbral, I keep trying to say it, lunar eclipse occurs when only the Earth's outer and lightest shadow is showing. So it falls on the lunar disk, which I just showed you, right? Actually, I should put it back up so you guys can see it while I am showing you. So because it looks like that, that is because it's just like that dark disk. It's like it falls on it, right? But it's going to begin on the 25th. It's going to start at 4:53 GMT time, and it's going to end on the 25th at 9:32 GMT time. Okay, and it's going to last for 4 hours and 39 minutes. And the eclipse, and this type of eclipse, are the most subtle lunar eclipse, and it's really hard to look at. So again, don't look at it. You can't really see it with a naked eye. And parts of Antarctica, west half of Africa, Western Europe, the Atlantic Sea, whole of both Americas, Pacific Ocean, Japan, eastern half of Australia are going to be able to see it and will be mostly affected. Okay. Just so you know. Okay, so this is a this eclipse is connected to the south node. So let me bring that back up. Well, I never brought it actually. Let me show you. Oh, for all of you guys who are listening via podcast, I just showed a picture of the eclipse, and I also showed a picture of the map of what it looks like when we are what am I trying to say? You see, I can't do two things at once. I just showed a map of what the eclipse, who's going to see the eclipse. So I just showed a picture. Anyway, I'll try to link that in a podcast for you guys. So the lunar nodes are generally more. Okay, so this eclipse is connected to the south node, and lunar south nodes are generally more negative in effect when we have an eclipse connected to a lunar south node, because you're dealing with letting go, you're dealing with clearing out, you're dealing with getting rid of waste, you're dealing with endings. Okay, when it's connected to the north node, you're usually getting something new. Well, that's not happening. Okay. So positives with any type of eclipse dealing with the south node, which this is dealing with the south node. And if you see here, it's connected to, oh, well, let me actually put, because it would be at 5 degrees. So it's connected close to this south node here. So because of that, oh, hello, Queen. Hello, Queen. Hey, girl, looking fine. Yeah, I was just showing off my shirt. Can't stay long, still at work. Enjoy your work, Queen. Thank you for showing up. Anyway, but back to what I was saying. So the positives on this is that well, with an eclipse, is there a positive? Yes, there could be a positive. Is that you could be releasing, you could be relaxing, you could be escaping. There could be some spiritual, psychic kind of involvement with this eclipse. You could be giving, you could be clearing out, you could be resting. Did I say resting? Well, I said relaxing. There could be some strange luck coming your way. Welcome something welcome from your past. Because you're dealing with the South Node and it's representing your past. There could be second chances, paying off some debts. I always say that word wrong. Spiritual awakening, accepting things that needs to be let go, and you are accepting all things from the past. Charity, relief, vacation from work, soul connections, looking inward, psychological and understanding. Did I say spiritual awakening? I said like spiritual and psychic abilities. There could be some sacrificing, some inner awakening, and spiritual liberations. Now, the negative to this is that you could be dealing with being very weak. You could be drained. You could be depressed. You could be wanting to exit, or there's some unfortunate event. There could be losing some control, relapsing, being unconscious, having less power over something, losing outer power. There's sorrow. Sorrow. You could be withdrawn. You can have some fear. You could be paranoid. You could feel hopeless. Very negative energy. Negative is negative. And what else? Leaking or loss. Okay. Now this is an air eclipse, and an air eclipse meaning that it's in the sign Libra. Libra is an air sign, and because anytime you have an eclipse dealing with an element, it means something different. Okay. I'm looking down here. I mean to say here, it means something different. And anytime you have a Libra, uh, a Gemini, what's the other air sign? Aquarius, then you are dealing with this kind of eclipse. Okay. It can influence the air, it can influence trees, birds, bees, human connections, transits, transportations, electricity, hurricanes, tornadoes, winds, uh, how do you say it? When it's polluted air, airborne diseases, radiation, wind energy, computer technology, 100%, postal systems, communication networks, space, and discovery. Okay, transportation, very important because Mercury is retrograding, as I said earlier. Do not do any transportation. I would suggest please do not travel. Do not just no airplanes. Okay. Pluto is in a sign Aquarius. We are entering some Aries energy, and then we have this air sign eclipse. I would suggest not to travel. If you are planning on to travel and you're like, I'm not living in fear, of course, do you. At the same time, I would suggest do not travel with these eclipse, with this Mercury retrograding in the sign Aries as well. Anyway, but back to this lunar Libra eclipse. Lunar penumbral eclipse in Libra will emphasize themes related to balance, harmony. This is what is going to affect you individually or and collectively, relationships, and anything dealing with diplomacy. Okay. You could be concerned with your appearance. You could be thinking about others and not thinking about yourself, neglecting your own needs. You could be easily influenced. You could be gullible. You could be unable to decide yourself. Passive aggressiveness too, kind of energy, because it's dealing with your emotions. You could be living your life through someone else's. Be careful of that. All this could be coming up with this eclipse. You could be spending time beautifying your life. Now, Libra rules Venus, and that is the planet of love and beauty, charm, and socializing. So all these areas could be focused with this eclipse. Also, you want to find balance because Libra is got the scales, and you want to find balance between you and your needs and you and your friends' needs, right? Because Aries, that is the polarizing sign, and that's where the sun is during this eclipse. The moon is in, let me put it back up for the people in the back. The moon here is in the sign. Sorry, let me try to click it. Where is my chart? Here we go. So the moon here is in the sign Libra. Right across that is going to be the sun in the sign Aries. Okay. So you have that polarity of balancing Libra, which is about your friendships and relationships, right? And versus yourself. Okay. And that's what Aries represents. Back to my notes. What else do I have here? Balancing your relationships, finding ways to bring more harmony into your life, and seeking diplomatic solutions to conflicts. Now, this eclipse could be a time for adjustments in your life as far as creating harmony and creating a balance. So be ready for that. Strongly influences of war and peace because it's connected to that Aries. It's a good time for introspection, reflection on how you can improve your relationships and bring more beauty into your life. Also, it could bring something to its head because you're dealing with Aries and Aries is dealing with the head. Also, jumping to a conclusion. Aries moves very fast and it's first. So something that is first and new could be happening too. Important decisions are usually forced within 30 days to 90 days following this eclipse. An eclipse is so long, the energy. Okay. And we'll talk about some past eclipse and how that affected us, but it is so long. It can last up to 6 months. Okay. So, go ahead and research some eclipse and I'll talk about some in the past and see how it affected you and how it's still lingering possibly. Okay, relationships are strongly impacted up or down depending on your individual chart, and I'll try to do your signs, your risings, all that. But if you want more, because it also depends on your degrees, it also depends on the different aspects, then hit me up. Power surges and power outrages. Uh you could be dealing with arbitration because we're dealing with Libra. You could be dealing with um litigation, laws, contracts, important decisions. Competition is Aries. Elections, marriages, divorces, gender relations, internal contracts, and national alliances. You could also be having some ceasefires. That could be an announcement. I'm not seeing that, being that we have some Aries situation going on, treaty violations, new treaties, outbreaks of war. Also, I don't see it because we also have that Pisces energy, and Pisces makes you a little confused and you don't know what's going on. Effects are sudden and usually happens within 1 to 4 weeks and can hold up to a year. Remember, I said it can last for so long, these eclipse energies. So be ready. There could be some team competition that is also involved with this. Settlements may be in the news, and competition in sports could be in the news. Social, race, class relations could be affected. Gender equality, all these things we can hear big announcements about. Libra emphasizes party oppositions, and that makes me think of the Democrats and Republicans because you are talking about your open enemies. So anything that has a partnership of open enemies, okay, just get ready. Like Trump and Biden, Hamas and Israel, public open enemies. And yes, anyway, I said the wind and the birds could be affected. What else do I have? They could be also, these open enemies could be resolving something or they could be mediating something. Libra symbolizes the scale. So social and harmonial balances can swing unpredictable. Expect surprises and decisions. Libra is all about making decisions too, because it's always like back and forth with that scale energy. Libra rules the kidneys, so that could be an issue, the lower back and the ovaries, the adrenal glands, as well as do the polarity sign, anything dealing with the head, right, and blood. Libra eclipse reflect primarily upon its opposite sign, Aries, which I talked about, secondarily upon its squaring signs, okay, which is Cancer. Cancer, where you at? All my cancers, where you at? Well, you might be affected, okay? Sweet cancers, and also Capricorns. You may be affected as well because it will be squaring you. This means that you may be experiencing some powerful effects in these areas of life that are governed too as well. Check out your charts. If you have your chart, check out where I will be talking about where this is happening for you. Check out your Cancer and Capricorn and see how that is going to be squaring that in your chart too. That's how you can get a little more individualized situation now. Also, this is happening in 5 degrees. 5 degrees is when you have this eclipse right there. I don't know. Can you guys see? Is that big enough, that 5 degrees there? Hmm, let me make it bigger. Okay. If you see there, you see the 5 degrees. You can see this is 5 degrees, and where is my sun polarizing? 5 degrees. Okay. So when you have things in 5 degrees, let me just talk about it. Okay. Degrees are very important. Everything in astrology is connected. Okay. If you have any Libra placements in your personal chart from 0 to 11 degrees, this could be affecting you. Okay. And it could affect you more than others. If you have any placements at 29 degrees, because it's 6 degrees, right? At 29 degrees in Virgo, this could be affecting you. You will feel it more than others. Also, what else? If you have any placements in 0 to 11 degrees in the sign Aries, this could be affecting you. If it's 29 degrees Pisces, any planets, okay, this will be conjunct the sun or the moon, and you will be feeling it. Okay. So back to the degrees. 5 degrees. Now, 5 degree is a Leo degree, and that is about attention, life, fame, light, children, your heart, gold, creativity, self-expression, monarchs. Let's see what's going to happen to the king and queen. Also, that is why we're discussing them. That is why they're in the news. This is part of that eclipse. Remember, it happens, you feel it before, and that is what you have. This eclipse is on the 25th, but we are talking about where is Kate Middleton. Okay, I don't mean to laugh, but that is part of this eclipse here. Okay. What else do we have? 5 degrees also entertainment, anyone, any of these celebrities, any of these influencers, strength, hair, all that. Okay, now let's talk about the Sabian symbol, because it's happening in 5 degrees, but you round it up to 6 degrees because it's 5 degrees and something, right? So when I looked up the Sabian symbol, it says the ideas of a man abundantly crystallized. The key word is personification, which is symbolization or something that's abstract, right? The theme is manifesting the idea. The symbol speaks to a very concrete and outer manifestation of inner insights and realizations in a particular, no, in a practical and everyday world. Excellence, beauty, um, um, why can't I think of the word? Being perfect. Okay. Taking define form or shape. Okay. The function of ideas is to inspire men to take, men and women, a positive action when opportunity knocks. Now, the negative part of this degree, and let's see if this affects you in this way, and manifesting and bringing something from an abstract to a tangible form. Negative is failure to rise above the level of mediocrity as a result of uninspired complacency, are the difference of commitments and preference for keeping the status quo. So, do you care just about the status and not really achieving what you want to achieve and being mediocre? That is what this degree is also representing. The opportunity of this degree with this eclipse is that your greatest advantage lies within holding fast to your dream, expect the best, and be willing to work for what you want. There's a risk of guarding against losing faith and becoming bitter. So be aware of that with this degree. So let's talk about the aspects here with this beautiful eclipse coming up for us, the collective. Now, March 25th, the eclipse again, South Node lunar eclipse. Remember, it's about letting go, but it's also understand that we have some planets in the sign in Pisces, Neptune, Venus, Saturn, and Mars all will be in a sign Pisces. So, what does that mean? We will be letting go. Pisces is the end, dissolvement, get rid of, okay? The end, letting go, keeping in the dark also, but ending. So there could be a lot of, with that South Node, ending of relationships and people. Pisces is the most spiritual sign of the zodiac. So our higher selves will be appealed to us and ask us, what did we learn and what are we letting go? What needs to be dead? Okay, because Pisces also represents that ending of death. People outgrow each other, and that is what we probably most likely learn with this eclipse, a lot of us. Now, also the moon is going to trine Pluto in the sign Aquarius, and it's been trining already, but since we're dealing with an eclipse, I want to talk about all the aspects involved. There's emotional depth happening. We're going to be more emotional. There's intensity, relationship dynamics could be a thing, inner strength, psychological insight. Now, trine is positive, so there could be some transformation involving healing with this. Now, also the sun it's close to Neptune, if you see there, right? And there could be a spiritual awakening. There could be some confusion. There could be some illusions. There could be no emotional release. There could be fantasy, using fantasy as a form of escaping, like video games and Netflixing, binge watching, are escaping through some addictive behavior, as far as drugs and alcohol, and probably not being clear of your own identity. So be aware of that. Also, we have Chiron is going to conjunct that North Node. The nodes are very important when we have eclipse energy, right? And this is a little bit stronger than the Sun conjunct Neptune, because this is just happening, just had been happening, and it's about heightened emotional intensity, revelations of some wounds. There's healing through action. There could be a catalyst for change when you have this aspect, releasing and letting go with that South Node, embracing your identity. There's courage to heal with that Aries energy, and Chiron in Aries, and then the Sun is in Aries. Finding your path, healing the masculine. You could be around feeling yourself, self-doubt, and resistance to change, and maybe impatience, because anytime you have a conjunct, it's good and bad. Okay, it's just like strong energy, and it's good and bad. So be aware of that impatience and some conflicts. Be aware of that. Now, the lunar eclipse coming before the solar eclipse also means that we have to let go before we move forward, because the solar eclipse is going to be connected to that North Node. So be aware of that. The themes of Libra and Aries access are encouraging us to identify the need of relationships and determining who we need to surround ourselves with to achieve a greater sense of self and self-fulfillment. Okay, that is what we have. Now, the last eclipse, and welcome if you're alive, welcome. I'm talking about the lunar eclipse, and this will all be saved. But the last eclipse was the last prenumbral Libra eclipse, happened March 23rd, 2016. If you're one who journals, if you are someone who keeps history on everything, check out and see what happened last there. Also, we just closed up a season of Taurus and Scorpio. We closed that chapter of a season of eclipse, and that was about money, safety, self-worth, and we just closed that out, and now we're focused on Aries and Libra. So get ready for that, and it's all about relationships and self. Okay, now the Libra solar annual eclipse was October 14th, 2023. The Hamas and Israel attack happened October 7th, 2023. Now remember, the eclipse happened on the 14th, but the attack happened on the 7th. That is because it felt it before, and that is why I'm like, I'm late. So if you're feeling this and you had some issues, you're normal. Just rest. Now, next eclipse, because remember, there's eclipse season. So we have two, sometimes three, but this time we have two. It's going to be April 8th, and that's going to be eclipse, a total solar North Node eclipse. Now, I find from my little research that the total solar is going to be stronger, but we'll see. It's in the sign Aries. There's a prediction of war with Aries. Okay, it's going to be conjunct the Chiron of healing and Mercury. That's some kind of announcements too, and thoughts. But Chiron is associating with trauma. It's also associated with intergenerational wounds. So this eclipse could also involve some healing work, which is positive. With Aries being the sign that represents the North Node, there could be something new happening. This eclipse could be going to push us to start a big new chapter in our life. Some people don't like change. Well, get ready for that. This eclipse will compel us to leave the familiar because we have outgrown it, and it might stir up some issues of inadequacy. I'm not going to apologize for the fact that I can't say certain words. But I'm getting better, you guys. I'm getting better. The more I do this, the better I get. Which we will be required to attend some inner healing with this eclipse and new perspectives, especially with that Mercury add on to it. Okay, so what do we need to do for this eclipse? Like, what can we do? You can light some candles. I wouldn't do it the night of the eclipse. Do it the day before the eclipse. So do it on the 23rd. I would suggest doing it on the 23rd. You can light white candles, gold candles, crystals. You can have those during the eclipse for anything that can involves protection from negativity. You can go ahead and do that. Do not charge any crystals. Like I said, I wouldn't go outside. Also, in ancient times, they used to break things as a form of like, and you want to break something eclipse, you break this. You know how they go to the smash rooms, like smash this, but don't smash anything precious. Stay indoors, rest, pray. You can meditate, but just be calm and pray. I would avoid doing any marriages, conceiving a child, any elective surgery. I wouldn't relocate during eclipse. Entering the stock market, it could be very unpredictable. Eclipse energy is very, very unpredictable. I didn't say that. I'm sorry. Anything homeopathic, new that you're trying for the first time, don't do it. Fermentation, bottling wine during eclipse, don't do it. Before